Communicators corner where voices unite, sharing our passion, reaching new heights. Join the revolution where dreams come true. At Communicators Corner, it's all about you.
Hello, good evening, and welcome once again. Just like the song we just listened to said, at Communicators Corner is just all about you, and that is why we've got this series of program lined up just to bring us up to speed with industry trend, so that as we're gaining academic knowledge about the media and mass communication in general, we are also getting some insight into what is obtainable in the industry so that the town is meeting the gown. That is the essence of this whole conversation, and it is our 1 year anniversary. Communicators Corner is built to empower mass communication students so that we are able to harness the opportunities that are there in the media space. So tonight, if you're just joining us for the first time, yesterday we had our first segment where we had Omotayo Okeumi, who spoke to us about public relations, the strategies to maximize digital public relations, and all. She gave us so many insights about how to be a good PR person. So this evening or tonight, we are going to have in our midst a renowned media practitioner, a media career developer, and he's a media expert. He's been in journalism and he has been a career coach to so many people. In fact, even our speaker yesterday said she was also mentored by this person that will be speaking to us tonight. So I would give just a minute for Emmanuel, that is the founder of Communicators Corner, to just give us his welcome speech, just in 1 minute, and then we kick off. Emmanuel, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Daniel, and I would like to welcome everybody to another webinar session. Thank you for joining us, and in case your friend is not on the call, please feel free to reach out and let's have a wonderful time together. Once again, we'd like to specially and deeply appreciate the presence of Mr. Lekan Otufodunrin. We appreciate him for honoring our invite to come and inspire the next generation of communicators and journalists, or even enthusiasts in general. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining, and please wait till the end. I believe that you are going to get a whole lot from this session. If you have not gotten your paper and jotter, please grab it and let's enjoy this ride together. Once again, thank you very much for joining. We will not be having this webinar without you. Thank you. Over to you, Daniel.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for that brief welcome speech. Like you said, we cannot have this webinar without you, and get your writing materials so that you can put down some things. When something is inscribed, you can easily go back to it and check. But if you think you're a magician, you can remember everything. One day you run out of breath and you will not be able to, recall what was said. So tonight we have Mr. Lekan Otufodunrin. He is a journalist, a media career development specialist. He is the executive director of Media Career Development Network, Nigeria's foremost media career mentoring and coaching organization. He is the managing editor of the mediacareerng.org, a former managing editor online and special publication of the Nation newspaper. Otufodunrin has over 35 years, 35 years of meritorious experience in the profession, which earned him commendation for outstanding performances. Otufodunrin is also former Sunday editor of the Nation and has worked for various media organizations, including the Punch newspaper, where he was group news editor, city editor, and also group political editor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Lekan Otufodunrin. Thank you very much, sir, for being here with us.
Thank you. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good evening, sir. We can hear you. Please, if you can hear him, just react to it, an emoji. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Can I go on or?
Yes, you can, sir.
Okay, so I want to thank you. Sorry, there could be some noise in the background. if I have to leave my house because of network, just to be sure that there is no issue. But I want to begin by thanking you. I'm also apologizing. I'm not using video because of where I am is dark. You know, our what is it that has broken down, and so many reasons. But more important, and I also have loved to do this in PowerPoint. But after this meeting, I'm going to send you my presentation, and I'm sure that you can digest it. So I think maybe in the next 20 plus minutes, I'm going to be speaking, and after that, we'll take questions. So I want to begin by thanking the Communications Corners team for doing this. I count it as an honor to be invited. Sometimes when I get invitation now, I'm wondering if I still have something to say to a new generation, but thankfully, it seems that we still have some things to share. This evening, we are talking about harnessing digital media opportunities for emerging journalists and communicators. So I was saying to Emmanuel that perhaps if you said for emerging journalists and communicators, we have more people. This is journalism. I'm sure that if you look at the people who say journalism in school, there are very few for various reasons. So 20, I'm seeing 25 plus people here. I think that's a crowd for this kind of a thing. Even big organizations that have participated in their training, it's a struggle. But so well done for doing this, and I'm going to start. Just to make it a bit interactive, I just want to ask briefly, when we hear harness, what comes to our mind? If you can just unmute and just say something, what comes to our mind when we hear harness? Because we're talking about harnessing digital media, what comes to our mind? I can take some feedback quickly. What do we think is harnessing? What does it mean to us? Yeah, I think that's... Yeah. Yes, I think I'm seeing Aliu and two others. Please just unmute and just say something quickly. Yeah, Ernest, what do you...
Okay, good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. So harness means to take advantage of digital media.
Thank you.
So harness
Yes.
digital
Okay.
media means to take advantage of it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Any other words? What is coming to your mind? Ernest, what is coming to our mind? Ukachi, Precious, Olubusayo. Please just unmute and just say something.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Okay, I would say harnessing here means effectively utilizing the media.
Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Digital media. Yeah.
Yes.
One more. Joanne, Okwara, I see your hand up. Just unmute and say
Good
something.
evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. So, from my own understanding, I think to harness means to take advantage of opportunities in the media sector.
Thank you. Thank you all for that feedback. I think it's exactly what I have on my mind. So I'm saying to use, to utilize, to exploit, to explore, to employ and exercise, to use. Exactly, that's what we are talking about. How to harness digital media, the opportunities for emerging journalists and anyone who is communicating. I always like to not to limit to say journalists, to say communicators, because all of us are communicating at every point in time. Quickly, let me just give you a quick background to myself. I know that most of the people here are maybe mass comm graduates from Unilag, undergraduates from Unilag, and some other places, because I also share this on some other platform for some students. I always like to talk about so that we can connect. So next year will be 40 years since I left Unilag Mass Comm. I graduated in 1985. And to think that 40 years after, we are still in this business is something that should let you know that the journey that you're embarking on is a long time, and there's still a place. When I was in Unilag Mass Comm, there was no computer, there was no internet. We used to have a room. That room downstairs, the old building beside the toilet, we used to call it a type. We had typewriters there. They were teaching us how to use typewriters because there were no computers, there was nothing. So you can imagine that was how we started, and things happened. We became journalists. There was still no computer. As of 1998, when I was working in Punch, the only internet in Punch was the one on the table of the secretary of the MD. If you wanted to send an email, you go and give her, you write it, she will send it, and you're going to ask her whether you have a response. Those are the times that we started journalism, but things have changed, and now we're in a digital age that we are talking about. And so we are talking about what are the opportunities that we can. And when we are talking digital, we are talking about non-traditional media. Thank you. Non-traditional media. So we are not talking of broadcast or print, alone. We're not talking about multimedia, multiple media. When we have multimedia, it's multiple media. When you are talking about website, we are talking about social media, we are talking about digital tools, we are talking of artificial intelligence. So many things have changed. Platforms that didn't exist before. So typically now, every media is multimedia. And that's one of the things I want you as undergraduates or anybody who is also a graduate to understand. There is no standalone media again. So for academic purpose, we can say I'm a broadcast student, I'm a PR person, I'm an advertising person. But in real times, we are in a multimedia age. So now I explain to you. I used to work at the Nation newspaper. A Nation newspaper is a print media. They print newspaper. But because it's a digital age, they now have a website, and I was online editor at the Nation. On our website, we have the Nation TV. So we have moved from just printing newspaper. We have the website, we have the Nation TV, we have podcasts, we have social media. So when we are sharing our information, we are no longer sharing on newspaper alone. So the Nation is no longer a print media, it's a multimedia platform. Channels TV is a TV station, though it is heavy on online. That makes it multimedia. So what I'm saying is that for academic purpose, we can say we are this, but in the real life of work, it's multimedia. Even in a PR company, an advertising company, corporate department, they are no longer traditional. And that is why it's important that for any opportunity that you get to learn anything, forget that you are a specialist in PR, forget that you are an advertising. All those knowledge combined. If you work in, for example, you are a corporate affairs manager of a bank, in that your department, you will churn out newsletters, which is a journalism task. You will work on social media. You manage your website, and you do so many things. You even produce magazine. So that's why we keep saying it's a multimedia age, it's a digital age. And so it's important for students to begin to harness that opportunity, because why should you even be thinking about it? Even people who are not studying mass comm, I can tell you this, like you say for free, is that in my work as a media manager, there are more active journalists who didn't study mass comm. Many of them studied unimaginable courses, agriculture, science. We used to have one of your lecturers that you know, Lekan Otufodunrin. He studied microbiology. He became a journalist, and he was the first Nigerian to win combined CNN African Journalist of the Year overall, a microbiologist in less than 2 years. He didn't do 4Ws and H, he didn't do communication theory, he didn't do all those things, he didn't do advertising, but yet, so if people who didn't study mass comm can harness those opportunities, you have no excuse. If somebody who study microbiology can become a journalist, so the fact that you are studying PR today does not mean that you can't become a journalist or you can't perform journalism role. Let's also understand the journalism role cuts across. In my presentation, I'll be giving you an example. So I think about 7 years ago, shortly before that, I was an adjunct lecturer in Unilag Mass Comm, and so one of the graduates of Unilag Mass Comm, after I stopped teaching as an adjunct, came to my office She graduated from Unilag Masscom. She specialized in PR. Her name used to be Blessing Olisa. She's Blessing Macaulay now. She was a PR person. She wanted a job. She wanted to get a job. She didn't get a job immediately. And some of our friends told her that you live in Mushin, your office is down the office of the nation. Go to the nation. Go and look for Mr. Otufodunrin. He used to teach us. Tell him to help you. So when she came, I said, what do you want to do? She said she wants to do. I said, this is not a PR organization. So what can you do? She said she likes to take pictures. And I said, well, the people in our photo department, they are a bit old school. They may not fit in. I said, do you do social media? I said, yes. I said, okay, you are in the right, because at that time I was online editor. I hired her. She initially was a volunteer in my department for about 6 months. Luckily for her, she didn't have to take transport. She just walked down her house. Within those months, she mastered social media used for journalism. She started our Nation TV, what we call the Nation TV today. She started it. She started our Nation TV, a PR person. She read and understood it and produced it. Today, they are still using it. So you see, and today, she runs a PR firm. She's also a digital marketer. And if you read her profile online, she keeps saying she thanked God that she started as a journalist. So again, we are saying these skills are important. What are the opportunities we are talking about? I say number one, there's a demand for digital skilled young graduate journalists. Most media houses want young people who understand the digital skill. You may enter there and not do the same thing that they are doing. They want people who can help them innovate. And that is very, very important. Many years ago, when I was Sunday editor at The Nation, there was an intern from Lagos Polytechnic, which is now Lagos University Science and Technology. He was an intern. He created our Facebook account. The Facebook account that The Nation has millions of followers today, it was created by an intern who understood technology. So the opportunity means there's a demand for digital skilled young graduates. Media houses don't want to employ traditional journalists who will also continue their practice. They want to replace traditional journalists. So you have a chance there. There are freelance opportunities. So whether it's in those media or whether on different platforms, there are opportunities to write content, news, features, interviews on this platform. Then there are numerous digital platforms where you can showcase your skill. So back to when I was in school, when I was an undergraduate, we didn't have that luxury. What we need to do is that you will write. Maybe if you are like me. So when I was in Unilag Masscom, in my first year, because we normally do 3 years back then, 3 years was direct entry. In my first year, I was assistant secretary of the Masscom Association. In my second year, I was president. In my second year, in my third year, I was Unilag news editor. I was also a campus journalist. We used to publish High magazine. I'm saying this for you to see how all these things connect. So then, even to write in newspapers, we write on our own, we send it through the post office, and God help you if it arrives. But we were already maximizing, harnessing those opportunities, those things that we are learning in school. We went for internship, we came back. I was lucky, I interned in a newspaper. I learned so much that when I came back, I continued to write for them, even though I was a student. And there are also platforms that need content. We're talking of opportunity. There are platforms, some of them are normal. So even for Twitter, for Instagram, for Facebook, all of them need content, which is free for all. Because if you are going to harness, people need to know what you are able to do. There are also global and remote opportunities. I'm sure that they keep telling us in school that it's a global village. Back in our time, when they say global village, we didn't understand. But now with internet, it's a global village where you're operating. I am speaking to you from somewhere in Ota. If anybody knows Winners Chapel, I'm speaking behind the Bells University, just in one corner, and we are live. So there are global opportunities that work that you can do for people wherever you are with the skills that you have. with your journalism, with your communication skill, with your content writing skill, and I'm going to share some, because sometimes when we say that opportunity, people are wondering how, but you need to find it. Let me also quickly say that it's not all the time that people will give you. Sometimes you need to find. I'll give you a quick example, then I'll come to talk about how you can harness. Some years ago, I saw a website. The website said it's a African news platform, news agency. But when I read that website, I saw that they were heavy on South Africa and East Africa. They didn't have much content about West Africa. So it occurred to me that I am a writer, I'm a journalist. Let me ask these people. I'm talking of, this experience I'm sharing with you, it's about maybe 2000 or whatever. Not even now. At that time when I didn't have even my own phone, I just had access to email. I asked them, and I said to them, it's also about strategy. I said, greetings from Nigeria. I am so. I see that you are doing well in South Africa and East Africa, but not much in West Africa. I'm based in Lagos. Can I send you content? And they said, yes, you can, but that we don't pay much. We pay $10 per story, 2000, year 2000, not 2024. And I said, why not? I write for free for some people. So why would I take $10 for a story? So it took me asking for that opportunity. So there are platforms where you find a gap and you need to be able to say, can I do this? And because it's a global village, you can see a platform somewhere that needs content from Nigeria, that needs content from Africa, and you can meet that need. So that is very, very important, because opportunities will not come. Some years ago, I was on Instagram, and I'm saying to myself, I'm not a Gen Z. What can I do well on Instagram? Instagram is more photograph. So I came up with an idea of what I call photo stories. I took all my old, I still have printed photo, not digital ones. And I put them on Instagram, and I started telling the stories. I'll tell the stories of these photographs. And they were interesting stories that people could connect with. So it took me thinking about, so this is Instagram, it's a free for all. What can I do? Let me tell photo stories that people don't know about what happened in the photograph I am sharing. And it gets a lot of traffic. And the reason why I'm doing this is also because people need to know what you are capable of doing. So how can you harness? Quickly, let me say that to harness this thing, the first thing is you need to master traditional journalism and editorial skill. Technology is not going to replace your ability to write. Forget about AI. We'll talk about it later. First thing, master traditional. If you are a writer, learn to write. If you are going to be a journalist, if you are going to be a communicator, if you are going to be a PR person, learn how to write, because you write press statement. You write articles that you want people to publish for your organization. There will be ruffle, and you need to clear the air with the best of article. So master traditional journalism and editorial skill. Know how to write news. Know how to write features. Know how to conduct interviews. Because gathering those information is the first stage of going online. If you don't gather them, if you don't do internet research very well, if you don't have the correct information, if it's not presented in a way that people can easily read, if you can't convert, if you can't engage, then there's a challenge. So master this traditional skill. And I need to say that master it at your level. So quickly, like there's AI now, and some people imagine that AI can do that for you. Remember, AI is generic. It's the same thing that we give people, but your ability. So one advice I want to give all of you that are here, that are young undergraduates, is that your first instinct for writing is not AI. Sit down and write something first. You may be shocked that you can even produce. Yes, you can maybe later use AI to like fine tune if you really have to. I'm an old school person. I don't use AI to write anything except I'm doing research. So, but if you have that attitude of writing, you will be creative. Because what AI does for you that I've seen is that initially I didn't understand how to spot AI writer, but I did immediately after some time. I realized how AI can be so general, can be summary inclined, It's not giving you specific. You ask somebody to do a book review and they use AI. AI is talking in general terms. It's concluding for you. It's giving you bullet points. And when 2 or 3 people use it, you find the same thing. I know people who have lost their job because they use AI unethically. So if your default position has been using AI recklessly or relying on too much, you will be found out. So I'm saying master traditional journalism and editorial skill, and you can grow it. The way I'm writing today is not how I was writing when I was a student. And that is why sometimes when I get some write-up from some student, I'm like, you can't write this. I'm not putting you down. And thankfully, I know how to also use AI to dictate AI content. So there's a way the AI comes in a finesse that you know that this is not just faith. I'm not saying there are no excellent young writers, but I'm saying you can easily be found out if that is your default. There's a level of expectation that I know for a class of people, and I'm not disappointed. But when it's exceeding that, I'm beginning to ask questions. So master traditional editorial skill, write report and programs. If you are going to utilize these skills, every opportunity you get to write. You attend, now we are at a meeting. This meeting I had yesterday, one of the interns in my place, who is from Lagos State University of Science and Technology, a master's student, attended that yesterday's program and sent me a story. We are publishing it by Monday because I didn't have time to edit it. So every opportunity that you get to write, because people want to see evidence of your ability. That is, because when people ask me to send people they can employ, I will recommend them based on what I know they have done, what I have seen them write. I will recommend you because you have a first class in mass comm. I will recommend you because you have a first class in mass comm, and I've seen you display excellence on these platforms that are digital. Then I've mentioned seek freelance opportunities. They are not given. So you need to seek them. You need to find them. When I am online, I'm looking at trends. I'm seeing new opportunities. I'm seeing gaps. I'm seeing how I can meet the needs, how I can be suitable. How today I'm not suitable, how tomorrow I can be suitable for that platform. So it's very important to seek opportunity. Some of them initially may be like they are not going to pay, but eventually they will pay for it. Even if they don't pay for it, you have your byline. You are searchable. People search, because these days when people want to employ, they search online. They want to see what content you have produced. So that's why you need to find any opportunity to have online presence that can be searched for. Offer to write for free if your byline will be included in the report. That is it. So, but you can negotiate this, because I know that sometimes we are all struggling we can't be writing for free. Yes, I agree you must, but at some level, offer to write for free, because you need to build a base. You need content that people can refer to. You need to show interviews that you have done, either audio, whether video, whether a podcast. So don't tell me you're a book writer, you're an author. I can't see a book. I can't see maybe an ebook of 10 pages that I can refer to. So that is how you place yourself in a position, because you need to showcase that you are capable of doing those things on digital platforms. Produce digital content at your level. Don't try to impress with plagiarize or AI like I mentioned. So produce your own materials, whether on a website, whether on a social media handle, whether it's even a project that you are promoting. This Communications Corner, for example, is innovation that you have done. If tomorrow any of you who are involved, you go for a job interview or you go for a consultancy, they ask you, what have you done before? You say, we have done this, we have organized this kind of forum, we have invited this caliber of people. And they know that even though you have 1 year experience, you have a lot of digital knowledge. So I tell young people, the advantage you have over our own generation is that 5 years of digital is more than 30 years of analog. Especially if you just know your small editorial mastery. Because digital is very, very important, but you must find a balance. One challenge I have in hiring young people is that I see many people, they know how to use digital, but they don't know how to do content. And I find old people who can write, in their sleep, but they don't know how to use digital. So you must find that balance in whatever place that you find yourself. So grow your online presence professionally, starting from your name. So many young people are online. The problem is not you people, you are digital native. You are born into technology, so you understand this thing, but you must do it professionally. It's called social media platform, for example, but more than ever before, it's a professional platform. It's your CV. It's what people read about you. And like I said, it starts from the name you call yourself online. It starts from the email that you have. I see people with some kind of funny emails. You think it's not matter, it matters to people. I see people maybe find girl at Yahoo, or somebody gives you a WhatsApp number. You open it, the name that is registered does not connect with that person. So I'm telling you, it's important to have names that people can easily identify with you. Like I said, I mean, sometimes I'm confused when I get some WhatsApp number. I'm like, is it the same person? The name, I know that we have nicknames or whatever we use, but if you are going to use this tool for professional tools, you must do it professionally in a way that people can easily connect with you. Like I said, it starts from your email, it starts from your social media handle names, it starts from the picture that you put on those platforms. It starts from what you put in the profile. So when they open your Twitter account, what does it say about you? Does it say a final year undergraduate or a high-rising communicator who is doing this, who is doing that? It's very, very important. Don't leave your social media handle or profile blank. And use professional photographs. These are basic things. It's an advantage because you may have the other thing, but the first impression that people get is wrong because of the way, or if you're also the kind that you engage in unnecessary online bass boost, people call it bass boost, people are calling and all those things that doesn't concern you. You are doing it, but people, your digital history is very, very important. So when we receive CV from new graduates, you see I'm a gentle, consistent. People describe themselves in the best of words. But when you check them online, they are a different person. Even the picture they puts you off. So these things are very, very important. Then again says, take digital assignments, even if you have not done it before. So what you are doing now is an assignment that you are taking for yourself. You form this group, you are doing this. When I joined this evening, and I was saying, I use Google Meet, but I'm not sure I can use it the way Manuel and the team that are using it. I'm even hearing music at the background. So take assignments, innovate and showcase what you're able to do. I have seen this now in my head. We have a conference call, and I'm like, I need to talk to Emmanuel and the team. Daniel is working with me on some other part of that. How can we ensure that our conference is really, really online in a very sustainable way? That so when people get an idea of you are able to do things, the opportunity is coming. So if somebody asks me tomorrow that, do you know a young person who can do this? I know who to recommend, and that is why you must do it. I'll give you an example. Some of the students interning with us at the media career, and one of them is an undergraduate in our department. He's also going to our final year, Balogun. I gave them books to read. After reading the book, she was very interested, and she and some other people are very interested in a particular book written by a journalist who traveled to the US and was indirectly trafficked, but she survived, and she's writing a book. And today she's a global person who is appointed on some anti-trafficking groups. She's an American citizen. I said, okay, if you'd like to meet this girl, I know her. I sent her a message on Facebook Messenger. That's where I could easily get her. She responded and she said, if they want a meeting, why not? We set up a Google Meet, and I said, you told me what you are going to do. They said she has never done. I said, you are going to do it. I said, look, so take it as a project. We are going to do a book interview. We are all going to join. And it came out successfully. She learned a number of things. And when we were reviewing, she said she would like to do this more. And I'm hoping she will do it. So participate do things that you've not done before. It's very, very important. Participate in media training and competition for students. There are numerous opportunities, many media NGOs that are student focused, young graduate focused, communications focused. They do them. So from Wole Soyinka to CJID, Center for Journalism Innovation, to Data Fight, to Cable, they all have programs targeted at young undergraduates and young graduates. So find them. I have every year my organization produces what we call capacity development reports that we share with people. We have the soft copy we can share. So you find those people. And like I told you, more on non-mass com graduates are the ones who are feasting on this opportunity. Just a few weeks ago, there's an organization called One Word. They organized a competition for writers and filmmakers. A student of UI, I think he read history or something. That program was for people young and old. He participated. When the result came out, he was the winner. I think he's going to get like $7,000 or something to produce a film. So it's about daring. I'm not thinking I'm still a student. Last week in Ghana, the Africa Czech Media Awards held. There's a student category. A student from Port Harcourt won that category. She writes for a platform I don't even know, but the content is excellent. It entered for an award, and she won. She actually went to Ghana, collect that award, and came back. So be ready to participate in those kind of opportunities, and don't wait till you graduate, because the years experience that people are looking for are these ones that you have. I'm beginning to round up so that we can take some good questions. Then I also say that branch into new forms of journalism. When many people hear journalism, they are thinking of investigative journalism. They are thinking of the dangerous one that they think. Investigative journalism is just one. Today we talk about fact-checking. We talk about solution journalism. We talk about data journalism. These are interesting new formats of journalism that if you go into it, you know that journalism can be fun. And even for the one that we think it's hard, there are newer ways of doing it. So it's very, very important to ensure that you branch into, you find them. So if in school these things are not emphasized, you must find the opportunity to participate, because there are training, there are webinars, endless webinars to choose from. So these days we have full-time solution journalism organizations. We have we have fact-checking organizations on their own. They don't do traditional journalism. And the skill that they need is multimedia, because they produce it, they do graphics, they do all those things, and it's very, very important. So it's very, very important to do that. Then I said, offer your skills, offer support, especially for old journalists. Recently, I came across what they call reverse mentoring. So when we are talking of mentoring, most of the time we are thinking of senior people mentoring young people. But I came across what they call reverse mentoring. Reverse mentoring means young people mentoring old people, because the young people have skills that they can teach old people. So even when they are not asking you, find a way to offer them. See what they are doing and suggest how they can do it better. Tell that very brilliant journalist that can analyze, that is not on Twitter, how to get on Twitter, how to set up his handle. Tell them how to be a thought leader on Instagram, and it will be very rewarding because you will have the benefit of working with them. Let me give you even a personal example. This is not even old. This is even old to old. So there's a journalist in The Nation. He's a very popular journalist. He's a columnist. But at that time, this was around 2016. He was not on Twitter. I didn't have a website. And I asked him, I said, you are a very popular person, yes, but you are still limited. Do you need a website and you need a Twitter? He said, that's nice. I've been thinking about it, but I will look for someone. I said, you are not looking for somebody. I am going to handle it. He said, if you can handle it, why not? So I hired the website designer. I set up this Twitter handle, I put it, and he paid me for it. So he even paid me. We are almost like colleagues. He paid me for it, but I am that offering him. So when I see a gap, so like I said, offer support. So indirectly begin to mentor and support old people who have all the connections, who can grab you and say, look, I have this young person. When I was working at the Nation, one of my best staff, his name is called Adedibura. He was an intern with us. He graduated. We hired him in an online department. Most of the things I could not do, he will do them. One day I made a presentation at our management meeting. I took him along. When he made the presentation, the MD said, you have this kind of young person. How much is his salary? Then and then we decided to increase his salary because he was just different. He had technology skills that we didn't have. And what happened next was that after some time, he was hired by an organization we couldn't afford to pay. Today is in the head of corporate affairs in a bank-related NGO organization. They are CSR. So, but that's the young man who started by creating our Facebook account, who could use PowerPoint when at that time I couldn't use it, and who could do a presentation at the management meeting, even though he had not had 1 year postgraduate experience. So that is very, very important. And I add, don't be shy with your skill. Don't be shy with your skill. Don't think that if I say people know, because how you can not be shy that you can use your own platform to do what you know how to do. People may not like it, but you have done it. And you never know who is watching, who is listening, who is thinking that you are doing brilliant thing. I'm almost true. When you attend programs, like I've said, write about them. Write content. Content can be text, it can be pictures, it can be video, it can be audio. So do them. And when you do, tag the organizers, tag the speakers. In that way, people know that you brought value to what they are doing. Because that's how you know people who. So I know young people who have applied for fellowship outside this country. The reason why some of them get is that people see that if they attend their program, they will add value. I'll give you a personal example. During COVID, I participated in a webinar by the International Global Journalism Network. They are the African arm. After participating in that program, I sat down, I wrote a report about that program. Nobody asked me to do. I wrote it, I put it on my website, I tagged the organizers. In the morning, lo and behold, the numbers of people who have followed me were heavy. I also shared on Twitter. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Please confirm that you can still hear me. No worry.
I think someone just played some video.
Yes, sir.
No
I can hear you.
Yeah. So the last point I want to make is that launch your own initiative like this. So sometimes people don't want to create space for you. People don't want to create space for you. But you must be able to launch your own initiative, even when it's small. When it's small, when it's tiny, you never know who is watching. So I read online about this one even happened in America. A young graduate who is a sports writer wanted to work in a big sports organization. They were not going to hire him because they think he's young. He started his own blog, did it so well that the big organization he wanted to work came to hire him. I said, I will hire you, I will work for you, but I will retain my organization, I'll give it to somebody else. So it took him starting his own thing and showing this big organization that I can do something that you would like. So people need evidence, and so you do that. So launch your, and sometimes, like I said, in media career, there's this day they call World News Day. Normally they don't celebrate a lot in Nigeria. So I told our intern we are going to mark it, and all they did, they came up with so it was a combination of journalism and PR and research. So they did a presentation, how we are going to do it, what we are going to launch, social media, management, everything. Then we said we are going to do a Twitter space, an X space. So they said, who is going to speak? I said, you, all of you. So I put all the interns from about 4 or 5 schools, and I joined them. They have never done Twitter space, being like a guest before, but they were guests on it. So it took us doing that. So again, what I'm saying is that launch your own initiative and Position yourself in a way that people can know that you have skill, because nobody is going to give you an opportunity when they can't see evidence that you can do it. Your degree is good, your first class is good, but people want your certification is good, but people need to see evidence, and that is how you can maximize. I'll end with this, and we'll take questions. There's a young guy who just graduated from Ibadan Poly. His name is Tohib, and I was telling the story of Tohib, who, though he was a student of Ibadan Polytechnic, today he writes for several organizations. He is a freelance journalist for Premium Times. He writes for several. I'll send the link. I wrote something about him. I said, where there's a will. He was struggling to even pay his fee, but today he attends several programs. People invite him for programs because they see him. So that is my final point. Like I was saying, there's a lot of opportunity, and it's not when you graduate that you are thinking of this opportunity. It is now. So they said there's a Chinese proverb that says the best time for this is 100 years ago, but the best time is now. And it's never late to start, because you are a privileged generation. You are a digital native. You are born into it. You have ideas. There are things that you can do that we cannot do, but we want to see that you can do it well. We want to see that you have the understanding of traditional knowledge, so that you can balance it and be able to do it. So once again, thank you, and let's take some questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your insightful conversation tonight. A lot has been unpacked. So you've driven us through what it requires. Now, people think, oh, it's digital era, so I cannot know my 5 W's and H. Those are the basis. Dr. Popola will always say for mass students that when the dog bites a man, it is not news. But when a man bites a dog, it is news. And you see, what is this man saying? But somehow he's just telling you what you should look out for it to be new. So we can always merge the old and the new. And also he has reiterated that it is very, very pertinent that we make sure that we are doing something. So there was an assignment that they gave us that time, and we're asked to do research and questionnaire. I asked this particular girl in my group to do questionnaire, and she was like, she cannot do it. I said, just try. So she tried, and she was having challenges. I had to edit it and show her how to do it. And she was like, this is her first time doing questionnaire. I said, yes, when you do your final year project, you will not have problem doing online questionnaire anymore. So just learn something, just be doing something. That is basically, even if you don't take any other thing out of this conversation, let it be that you are doing something that is digitally based. So thank you very much, Mr. Lekan, for your insights tonight. And then we'll take a couple of questions. So if you have a question, you can just raise your hand, then unmute, then you can speak, or you can put your question on the chat box or the community.
So while we are waiting for questions, one point I always tell people that if old people like us can do what we are doing online, you people have no excuse. So like on X, I have about 37,000 followers, and they are not. I didn't buy them. I didn't have money to pay. 37,000 followers. Before the blue tick, it started being sold, I was a verified Twitter user based on the content that I was sharing. And again, it's a continuous thing. It's not like you open a Twitter account today, you forget your password tomorrow, like some people do. It's a continuous, it's consistency that matters. People want to see. It's the people I see online that when people ask me for recommendation, I'm able to see. And sometimes it's not like people say, it's not rocket science. So sometimes I'm just listening to music, I like it. Like there was a time I was listening to music, I said, what doesn't kill you make you stronger? I was like, wow, this is nice. I could make it stronger. And I searched for the person who had the song, and I put it, and I developed an article on it. And it's one of my most read articles. So I get inspiration from things around. Also, online is also an engagement. It's not about you just sharing. Like people's comments, reshare them. Like their comment, reshare, retweet, comment. It's an engagement. It's not one way. It's communication. It's two-way flow. If you don't engage with other people's content, nobody will engage with your own. if especially when you are not a celebrity. It's when you are a whiskey that you have 10 million followers and you are not following anybody. But if you are a professional that needs engagement, you also need to engage with people, and engage with organizations that you want to like join, or you want to learn from, or you want to become. Let me give you an example. My daughter, who graduated from Unilag Mascom, she read biz admin, and she was told during NYC that if you want to work in, she wants to be an auditor. So she said she wants to work in KPMG. They said, look, go to the website of KPMG, read their website, know what they do, learn about them. And she did. She understood them. She went for internships. She saw the career path of the people who are working there and knew how they got there. And lo and behold, today she works in KPMG and she's an assistant manager in KPMG. But that's a young girl who took those kind of things. The little thing that she used to do. I give her money to attend workshops, seminars. If they say there's a seminar coming, go. Even as a student, sit. You don't know who are going to sit next to. Somebody can give you a card. You may even ask a question like, wow, this is a brilliant person. You meet people, and that is how to network. Networking is also key to be able to maximize this opportunity. So I think if there are some questions, we want to take them.
All right, the Melody, let's take it first. Then we'll come to Emmanuel.
All right. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and good evening, Mr. Lekan.
Good evening.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Okay. I will start by saying I'm so much blessed that I did not miss this opportunity, regardless of a lot of things on my plate. But I thank God I was able to. Please, it's not just it's not about a question. I think a lot of things that you've said, I'm going to take a lot of time to digest, and that will take a long time. So what I would actually ask you for is, I heard you mentioned a lot of opportunities. So I want to ask if you can share the links containing the information about these opportunities, so that we can also look forward to it and find out and see how we can place ourselves and utilize these opportunities. So that's what I wanted to say.
No problem. So let me say, in 1 week's time, if you ask Daniel, if you don't get it, ask Daniel. Hold Daniel responsible if you don't get it. Let me just leave you at that. Tell Daniel what you want, and
Okay.
I will send everything to you and you will get it.
Okay, no problem. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. You've heard this G Melody. If you want anything, just come to me. Thank you very much. Emmanuel,
All right.
we'll take your question now, and then we'll come back to other people. So if you still have questions, this is time for you to ask those questions that have been troubling you, or something you want to gain more insight on. So Emmanuel, go ahead. Emmanuel, your hand is raised, so go ahead. So since Emmanuel is not speaking yet, is there any other person that has a question here? Okay, so my question is, we live in an era where, of course, technology is taking over, and then in school everybody wants to venture into advertising and public relations, because there's this mark that that is where the real cash is. So, and then sometimes I ask myself, there's this song like is it Omale that said, are you having fun, or you are doing this thing to survive? So most times people are no longer being driven by passion, but just want where the cash is coming. What is your advice? Is it passion and where the cash is coming? I don't think this is really related to digital anything of the digital space in media, but it is something that I feel will help us to understand some things, because most times you have this passion for journalism, but no, it's not that paying. So let's just chase the bag. Where do you stand, sir?
Okay, so my response, I'll try to answer this very difficult question because I don't want to be seen to be like prescribing, but we have different experiences. So, if your passion is journalism, go for it if it's the thing that comes your way. But like I'm saying, when we all leave the university, the reality is different. So like the graduate I said left Unilag with a PR mentality and ended up working in a newspaper house. So she was not even looking at that. But but I also said that journalism has also changed. Journalism is not only the traditional thing that so learn the new ones that are diverse. There is a guy that some of you will know. His name is Fusayo Shuyombo. He's one of the foremost investigative journalists in this country. When you're talking of proper, there are all kinds of investigative journalists in Nigeria, but proper one. Fusayo read agriculture, maybe on animal husbandry or something like that. And he came to journalism on his own. He came to do internship. So sometimes I'm asking, when many of us who study mass comm and saying there's no money in this thing, we are seeing young people come into journalism, get the kind of money that even their colleagues who are doing PR and advertising are not making. I ask myself, how many PR companies do you have in this country compared to platforms where people can practice? So I'm saying that you are not the traditional journalist. The thing is to be diversified. I've told you there are fact-checking organizations, there are data journalists, there are solution journalists, experts. There are different things. There are people practicing journalism in places. There are people working in tech companies. So journalism is not only about just reporting. It's also about the ability to write content. Content writing is not the same thing as journalism. But journalism is a skill that is. So the thing is, see the opportunities, explore. So you don't have to end up working in the Guardian or the Nation as a journalist. You can end up working as a journalist in some other places. There's a lady who works for they are the owners of Tech Kabar, Anita Egoigbe. She's going to be one of our speakers on our conference that is holding on October 31st. She read mass comm. She's chief of staff. She's like the commanding officer at the Kabar Group. But she's not your random journalist. She's not your typical journalist. She started working at News Agency of Nigeria. She went to work at Humangu. There are platforms that you have never had before. The journalism they practice there is different. It's not the old school one. So now I'm saying there are people working in media space as journalists in co that are even making money. So I'm saying your tradition, your passion is very important because that is something that will give you joy. But the thing is to diversify. So I have been a journalist all my life, but today I do career development. I've learned a number of things along the line. Today I speak. This week I'm speaking. Polaris Bank is organizing a training on AI. I'm one of the 2 speakers. What they will pay me is more than what I was earning as an editor for a whole month. But it means that even though you are a journalist, you are picking up other skills that are ancillary to those things. And you are exploring global opportunities. You are not thinking that you are going to end up working in one small. Even if you start working in a small newspaper house today and online. I know a lady, she's in UK now. She was working in Port Harcourt, working in a radio station where they were not paying her. But she had her eyes focused. She got an opportunity to come to Wole Soyinka female reporters training. And we talked and I said, sir, I'm not happy what I'm doing, but I am exploring opportunities. She got a scholarship, went to study in UK. She's an environmental journalist. She has her own platform and doing. So that's the point I'm making. So for those opportunities, those diversity are things that we need to explore. So it's not the same like you are going to So even if you do those initially, there are greater things that you can become even as a journalist. Journalism can even be a stepping stone. Some of the best PR people I know in this country, they were journalists before. The people they call PR people, the people who are spokesperson, they are journalists before. So it's not a disadvantage to start as a journalist, but you don't have to remain one you can move on because it exposes you to a lot of opportunities. And that's what journalism does for you. But if you want to be a journalist, start it, but open your eyes to opportunities and explore them. That's what I want to say.
Thank you very much, sir. We have Asiosa. Sorry if I murdered that name. Aisosa. You can go ahead.
Yes, good evening. My name is Aisha. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Lekan. I joined late, but from the little I learned so far, I have two questions. So the first one is, and from what I was hearing you so far, you were like telling us about the need for us to connect and grow our media space and stuff like that. But it's not everybody that is this social type. So for someone that is introverted in nature like me now, that we are always the staying at home type, how do we find food in this industry? Because many a times I've heard that mass communication, you need to be social, you need to be active, you need to be out there. You cannot be an introvert and do this thing. So how do I find food as an introvert? The second question is, how do I get ideas? How do I get ideas? How do I gain exposure? Because in private universities, for example, we don't have that much exposure. So, because we are always like within the confines of our school. And some time ago too, I'm just giving this example to illustrate my question. Sometimes ago I was supposed to present. It was an impromptu presentation at a radio station for at where I intern. So at that moment when we were to like start it was a on-air presentation. At that moment I was just freezing. I could not think of any ideas, and it was so embarrassing. Like I stood there throughout the whole show. I only introduced myself. I could not say anything. So how do I get ideas? How do I gain exposure as a private student? And how do I find food in this industry as an introvert? Thank you, sir.
Okay, so thank you for your loaded question. Let me assure you that being an introvert is not a disadvantage. It's your normal nature, and we are all created differently. And I can tell you that when I started as a student, when I'm at a gathering, I'm praying nobody will call me to speak. I'm praying nobody will call me to speak because I don't want to talk. I'm not sure I can say the right thing. But if you call me to speak today, you need to beg me to stop. So the thing is, know that is your normal nature, but know that for the profession that you are into, this is not about showing off. So let's understand, it's not about showing off. There is a level of exposure that you do that can be oversharing, but there are basic ones that you need to overgrow and say, look, because this is required. So what I'm saying is that your normal self is saying that I don't want people to see me. So I know many journalists who are naturally shy, introvert, but they need to understand that there's work to be done. So that's the understanding. And it's a gradual thing. So you need to do it gradually. You may not be able to be like the first person who is like everything is throwing on social media, but you are throwing basic one. You are starting, for example, by ensuring that you have social media angle. Social media is no longer social, it's professional too. And I said to people, whether you're a journalist or a communications person, in this age, you need social media presence in a professional way. There are some people, they've made their name, they don't even need social media. But if you are going to get into this space, you need some basic appearance. So basic as like you have them, you introduce yourself properly. So your LinkedIn page is not like blank. You put those things that you have done. The small thing that you're doing that you think is not more. You are the president of your group. You are the coordinator of this project. You have done that. Those are things that you need to showcase. So if you are an introvert, you need to grow it gradually. It will not happen suddenly. Then in terms of exposure, I get your point. I know how limiting private school, like you have said, but I also know that some private school they are exposed. So what I'm saying is that thank God you have come to a program like this, and it's nice. So those things that they don't allow you to do in school, especially when you're in session, when you take your opportunities, do them. At Media Career, for example, we have an internship program and we have a mix of students. I know some of them are listening to me, so I won't mention names. I know that when some of them came, they were shy, but eventually they saw that the other people, when there was a program we took, and that's why you must appear, be at a place where they can take you out, where you are not the speaker but you are learning. So what we do at Woloshonka is at Media Career, we take our interns out. So Woloshonka Center was launching an expert program and marking 10 years. So we took them there. Then some students came from LASU, some students came from Unilag and things, and they were interviewing the executive director of Woloshonka, and they were doing it after. One of the students from our place who attended, she's from another school, and she wrote in her post, said, wow, when she saw the other students, the way they were like, but she was really inspired. She knew that, yes, she needs to learn something. So exposure means that when you see small seminars go, workshop, webinars go, it may not be possible when you are in school, but you should be able to do it when you are off. And if you are lucky that your school allows you to organize maybe like some workshop, find people to invite, people who can speak. I went to, there's this university in Ekpe, I've forgotten his name. Professor Sunday from Unilag was on sabbatical there. He organized the first mass con week in that school. They don't want to do it well. He invited people like us to come and talk, and they had new experience. In fact, one of the students doing a question said, sir, he said, why have we been shut away from things like this for 4 years, and we are just seeing it in our final year? So sometimes some of these schools do a lot of disservice by not giving this kind of exposure. So, but thank God you are on this program. Stay in touch. There are many things that we can even share with you online. If you ask the organizers, Media Career, we have a website, and we like to help young people who want information, and we are able to do that. So find a way to get from the organizers my contact, and you can stay in touch and I can help. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll take the next person. Oluwayemi Mighty. Your question, please. 30 seconds.
All right. Thank you very much for your question. So I'll just go straight.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's about AI and how it has been evolving. Of course, we do say AI cannot take our jobs if we keep ourselves well and know what we are doing, things like that. But the truth is, it's just that it will not take our job, but it will reduce the intake of people. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You understand? I understand. Employees have almost that we now end up employing 10 people because we now have the high that can easily.
Okay. So there's a generator behind me, so it can be disturbing a bit. So I was also struggling to hear the question, but I had the point about.
So let me just. I said, how can we not only be how can we contribute to technology as people in the media space? So I use Twitter as an example. Twitter is something open for. It's just like if you have an opinion. Yeah. So how can we, as media professionals, construct rules and regulations that will guide some technology, that will guide some machine because of the level of expertise we have in the line.
Okay, so I get your question. It's multiple, but I'll try to answer the one I can as quickly as possible. The first thing to say is that, well, technology is advancing by the day, and it seems nobody has control in the front of it. So from a point, so we used to, I'm sure that it must have been told in school that journalists are gatekeepers. Have you heard that expression before?
Sure.
Have you heard that journalists are gatekeepers? But with technology, that gates have been, everybody has been removed. Our control of what can be published, what can be broadcast, is no longer as sacrosanct as before. So people want information, and they don't have to wait for the professional journalists to share it. So that is a major concern. The way we can be involved is that we also need to become tech savvy so that we are not waiting for things to produce a tool for us. We are also producing tools that can be managed. But the truth is that even for these platforms, there are guidelines that are coming up. So number one, we need to speak up about the abuse of these platforms. We need to let them know how they can ensure that not everything is publishable or not everything can be broadcast. And that is happening. That is why you can do something on Facebook and they will ban you or suspend you. People can be reported if they do things that are not right. But there's still a law that can be achieved. So we need to speak about that. And some of us need to understand technology that we can also come up with tools that have input about the knowledge that we have. That is the only thing we have. But if we are just like watchers, like you are saying, consumers, if we are not innovative, if we are not coming up with concepts, so we are organizing a webinar, so to say now. But you know the right thing to say. If you don't leave, permit me to say, the very dark people alone to just have a run online, people just say, and everybody is a celebrity, everybody comes and just say all kind of things. You also need to be in that space. So we can't be hiding in our newsroom or in our transport and say that we are the professionals. We need to get online. If people are not doing that, we need to show them how to do it. We need to show them best practice. If we don't do that, people will believe that they are the professionals and we are not. Sometimes I see people say somebody is a very good journalist. It's because they have not seen better, but people know the difference. So, as professionals, we must be in that space. Be there, perform, live up on expectation, set standard that people need to emulate. And if we do that, we will have achieved something that is measurable what we are asking for.
So people like said, AI, what do you think you can do to implement this in school? What I mean is that when we start being trained on how to be participants of like how to contribute to technology, not just being the end user, how we can also by ourselves do some things, create some things that are useful so that we won't just leave it for those people in the tech area to do it and without applying the laws, that are necessary.
Why the curriculum in schools have to also, we keep talking about curriculum. I know that it's not easy to change curriculum, but even in teaching communication, we need to teach people about technology so that they understand how to come up, so that even the research that people are doing, people should do masters and PhD theses that can come up with new tools, and they can also, there's something you also call partnership. So you find tech and journalists working together. So we have combination. So what you don't understand about it, so you can come up with an idea and tell the tech person and you produce it to meet your standard. So that's why mass comm is no longer just like communication theory that we or school. How do we use new technology? How can we examine it? How can we come up with new ideas? But working together with tech people is very, very important. That's what we need to do. One last point I want to say so that we can take another question is that you say AI is a threat in a way, but it will also replace so many journalists. It will replace people who cannot think on their own. What AI is giving you is what is already online. Let me give you an example. There was a time I traveled abroad to a country and I came back. If I didn't write that story, from my own perspective, AI cannot tell you what's on my mind. So we need people to be able to be innovative and creative. Create their own content so that people like, this is different. Because there are things you can see. You cover an assignment. AI cannot cover an assignment from you because I can't see. They can tell you that they get help. People spoke. They said this. But you can't see the person who stood up when it was 5 minutes. You can't see the person who is an tech and things like that. That is why original content is different. And we must strive at that. I think we can take maybe one or two more questions before we end. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, sir. We're going to take yes it now. Please, it's time. 30 seconds.
Good evening. Just come. Hello. Okay, let's confirm if
I can
everyone
hear
can
you.
hear me. All right, thank you.
Yes, I
So my
can hear
question
you.
is, all right, thank you, sir. Oh, my question is, how can I didn't join all this. I'm not sure if you talked about it or not. My question is, how can one improve communication skills like public speaking and networking, like speaking to other people, basically? How can one improve communication skills in those aspects?
Okay, so like you said, communication is wide. Public speaking is communication. Ability to even address an audience is communication. So how can you improve it? Is by doing it small, small. So if you want to learn public speaking, start speaking even in your class. Start speaking up when there are meetings, when there are group meetings, when there are campus events. Speak up, see people, watch videos, watch. I've forgotten this particular. Forgotten there's this TED Talks. Watch those things. You will learn from some of those things. And when you go out, develop the courage to ask questions. People may laugh at you, but you have overcome that shyness. So that's how to learn public speaking and get opportunity to speak. When they want speakers for a small thing, say you want to be a speaker, so that's the way to also do. When you join, for example, you join the Twitter space, ask questions because the speaking is in levels of the thing that you can do. How can you improve your communication skill? Again, it depends on the one that you want. And these days there are all kinds of certification online which you can also take. And that's training, local, big, small. Just attend them and find those opportunities. Like the ones I'm going to share with Daniel, there are things I can show you regularly. For example, I'll give you an example. A few days ago, some people were doing a training. There's a human rights journalist network. They were doing a training about cyber security, which is a part of technology that we should learn even as journalists. How do you write that people cannot hack you? I shared it on a group. I teach part time in Yaba Tech. Two of the students went to the training. They learned things they didn't hear before. So that way, they are networking. They met new students. They met professionals. They connected their contact. And you don't go to a meeting and you forget about people. Tell people thank you, no. Thank you for it was nice meeting you. I learned this from you. I like to stay in touch. Follow them, search for them online, follow them online, like their content when they share. Comment. That's the way you can also network and enhance it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Daniel.
Hello.
All right. Thank you very much. Take the last question now, which is Oluwa Lonimi Favor Alimbola. Go ahead with your question. Then we'll wrap up. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me? Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Okay, so I'll just go straight to
We
my
can hear
question.
you.
Okay, so the thing is, personally, I do a lot of things. So I write, I enjoy writing. I don't really like news writing. I can do any other form of writing, but news writing. I don't just like being restricted anytime I'm writing because you just strictly have to work with the five W's and H, and it's boring to me. Then I also do technology. I do ED, and sometimes I find it hard to like incorporate the two, and sometimes I find it hard to tell people what I do, like totally what I do. Okay, because some people feel like they are so unrelated. 3D writing. So which exactly are you good at? And I'm actually good at both. Yeah, I'm good at 3D. Yeah, to an extent. Very good. And I'm also good at writing. So what advice can you give to me, sir?
So my advice is that number one, There are different forms of writing. There are different forms of clear writing. So I hear you say you don't like this writing. That is the basic word. So if you, for example, the assignment, and it's also, I know that sometimes it can be limiting, but there's nothing wrong in learning how to do. And it's very simple. But so today I can do any form of writing, including creative writing. So if you don't like news writing, so don't get an assignment that requires news writing. But if it's for academic purpose, you need to know it. And if you can do creative writing, you can do news writing. The thing is just adjust your mind that this is an assignment that has to do. It's just who said what, where I said so, why did he say so, how did he say so, and things like that. But what I've also tell young people is that there are different levels of writing that you can be exposed to. So you can work in a media house that requires you to do creative writing. That requires you to do interviews, that requires you to do the multimedia thing that you are good at. What is important is your ability to source those things. If people begin to see that you are different in this matter, that's why they will push you to it. But you do more of that so that people can know that this is your area. But there's nothing wrong in being a chef and a writer, things like that. Because these days, your multimedia still helps. There are people who can, and that's why we say that if you understand the basic, getting the content, putting it in conceptually form will not be different. So my advice is do the ones that you are good at, project it as much as possible, write features if you want to write features, write opinion, do creative writing. There's some reports that are not good at news writing. There are some reports that are not good presented at news writing. Do them as creative conversation. You know, when I write on social media, on LinkedIn, I don't write news. I write conversation. So somebody was asking me, how do you get ideas? Ideas are all over, but you must be attentive. I mentioned to you that I was listening to a radio program and they were singing a song, What Doesn't Kill You Make You Stronger. And I wrote something that is very long that people really enjoy. I went to a class, I went to a class and online day, and I was telling the teacher that I have 37,000 followers, and the student said, God, they whine me. I said, I'm not whining you, but I ended up writing an article saying, I'm not whining. Sometimes I know the whine you, Gen Z, I know the whine you. I can write even with pidgin, you know, but it depends. It's the type of writing that will determine what you want to write. But the thing is, be open. When you read other people's writing, learn from what they're writing, see their style and develop your own style. You get a point where people will be comfortable with your own style. But when you are still growing, there will be some restriction where they want a particular thing, and that's why know it and do it so that they don't think that you are not able to do it. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Etunchi,
Thank you.
Olafemi, we are out of time, but just take your question so that we can wrap up. Please be brief. Olafemi, please go ahead and speak.
Good evening, sir. Yeah, can you hear me? Good evening. Hello, can you hear me?
Good evening.
All right, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yes, I can.
All right, sir. I would like to ask a question concerning plagiarism in writing news report or in writing generally, sir. Because I was privileged to attend one of the conference happened to be one of the yes, UI. This of the plagiarism that if you plagiarize your own story, it's also an act of plagiarism. I'd like you to understand that when you said it. So I'd like you to like expand on it. Plagiarize your own story. Like for instance, you wrote a lead story for like social media organizations. I think if they are committing the same kind of story to all of them, it's plagiarism in that context. So I want to get from it.
Okay, thank you. I'm trying maybe there was a mix-up when I was doing the presentation. But essentially, like I mentioned, journalism is an ethical matter. So one thing that wants me to know that there's a code of ethics for journalists and for communicators. There are things you can do. What makes you different from a random blogger or from a freelance person who is not a professional is that they can do anything. But if you're a professional journalist or communicator or PR person, there is a code. So journalism means that you cannot, you cannot, you cannot claim what you didn't originate, you don't didn't write. So Daniel has written an article, and you want to write something similar, and you leave some paragraph from him. The least you can do is to say, in an article written by Daniel, he said so. That does not make you less. One of the reasons why people realize that they want to appear and say they know everything. You don't know everything. Some other people have written what you are writing. So, if you don't want to plagiarize, one of the ways to avoid plagiarism is if you read an article, close it and write your own. Don't be copying the paragraph and be looking at it and writing your own. You will end up plagiarizing. Write your own in your head. That way, the words will not be similar. You will avoid. But if you have to credit that person, say according to this person. But if you are the originator of that story, for example, so the way to avoid what you are talking about, the plagiarizing yourself is that, for example, if you wrote an article for Unilag Sun and you're writing another one for the nation, you can refer to say according to an article in Unilag Sun, say in my article in Unilag Sun, I said so. That means you are referring to that one and you are using the exact code. But if you just write it, people are wondering who is he quoting. So, but what you should take away is that plagiarism is unethical. People lose their job because of plagiarism. People lose writing gift because of plagiarism. All is required that credit your source. Credit your source. Say I got it from here, and move on and add your own. There's plagiarism, there's copyright. Even for books, when people copy books and they don't credit, so those are the points about it. As a professional, avoid taking credit for other people's work. It's important to ensure that you don't take credit for other people's work. Credit them and write your own. That's what you should do. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insights tonight, and you shared a whole lot of experiences with us, and I'm sure that everybody on this platform is going home with one thing or the other. Even if you're not going home with anything, for me, it's about building your online presence. Something you've emphasized, how you shape your online presence is very important. Thank you very much, sir. And for those of you that might not know Mr. Lekan, Mr. Lekan is, like when he said at the beginning, is an alumnus of the University of Lagos. So he graduated from Unilag, and also he runs a media platform, Media Career Development Network, where he's the executive director. So if you need anything, he's a very resourceful person. He can help you with anything you need as far as media is concerned. And you are also to follow him on his socials. On LinkedIn, just search out for Mr. Lekan, just Lekan Otufodunrin on LinkedIn, and then on Instagram too. He's on Instagram and his handle.
Yes, it's still
Go
on
to
Instagram is Lekan Otufodunrin. No,
yes, at
Otufodunrin.
exactly.
Yes.
I was
Then
trying to.
on Twitter, yes, on Twitter is also Otufodunrin. On Facebook, it's my name. I have the normal account, I have pages and whatever, but the name is generic. It's Lekan Otufodunrin. You will find it. So it's been nice talking to all of you, and I hope that, like you said, it's been worth your while. Like I keep saying, I'm speaking with a 40-year experience. So, and these are nothing that you will do every day. So, all of us are in levels. Take your time. There's room for overtaking, like they say. I know people who, what took me 20 years to achieve, I know people who achieve it in 5 years. So, don't be afraid of people with 100 years of experience. The thing is the value that you bring. The world will make a space for you when you have something, a new idea. When you are saying, look, I'm a young person, but I have a new idea. I have this idea I want to try. And luckily, you have a space where you can try it out. They may be the person coming to look for you because they are seeing the good work that you are doing. So thank you once again, and thank you for the invitation. And welcome to the team that put this together.
Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate you. Please, a round of applause for Mr. Lekan as we call it a wrap. So before we go, let's also know that the webinar continues. So it's a series of webinars that we're using to commemorate the 1 year anniversary of the Communicators Corner. And we continue we have on 25th and also on the 26th of October. So see you again. We're going to have someone speak to us on digital marketing, and we're also going to have people speak to us on advertising. So have a wonderful evening and remain in touch, because the program, we've just taken 2 parts of the program. It's remaining 2 more webinars. And believe me, before the end of this series of webinar, you must have gotten a whole lot of ideas. And yeah, as a communicator,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.